Yogis, Lauren Zinbuck here with Yoga Through Lauren, and today I'm talking about balance. Specifically, I want to share with you the 3 essential skills or keys that yoga teaches us we need to build in order to transform our balance. Or more accurately, I should say, in order to let our balance transform us. Because in my experience, having a strong sense of balance is that big a deal. It's transformational. Of all the physical skills that I've acquired from practicing yoga for more than a decade, having a strong sense of balance is no doubt the most transformational one. And it's because it allows me to move with less effort. I move with less tension, less stress, less pain, and more ease, more grace, more confidence. And that confidence byproduct of having a physical skill, a physical sense of balance, is fascinating to me. I think it has a lot to do with this first key, this first essential skill that I want to share with you. And that is building a strong sense of center. So, and I mean literally your physical center, the muscles at the core of your body. You've got to build those up. First, let me explain what most people think of when they think of balance. They think of having opposing forces that are in flux, like right side, left side, front side, back side, work and family, and they're going for a sense of evenness. When the flux seems to stop and stillness happens, that's what most people think balance is. But yoga shows us that this is actually a really superficial way of looking at balance, and it's not that effective. And the reason it's not that effective is because there's so much that you can't control. Your lungs are breathing, your heart is beating, the planet is hurling through space. There's no stillness. So if you're waiting for stillness to happen, you're going to be waiting for a really long time. Instead, yoga says strengthen your sense of center, and then those forces that are in flux don't affect you as much. It's much harder to throw you. And this gives you a sense of confidence. So by center, by core muscles, I don't mean your six-pack muscles. Those are actually pretty superficial. They're right at the front plane of your body. I mean the muscles behind your six-pack muscles. I mean the ones that stabilize your spine, the muscles that hold you erect. When these muscles are strong, you can still relax. You can take a deep breath into your belly. You can't do that when your six-pack is flexed. And in a relaxed, deep breath kind of a way, you can exist. You don't have to be tense in order to feel strong. So that's the first essential skill that yoga helps us build to transform our balance. The second one is this sense of rooting down. Rooting down. Most people, when they think of balance, focus on the lifting up part. If you're going to balance on one leg, then they focus on the leg that's coming up off the ground. If they're going to balance on their hands, they focus on both feet coming up off the ground, like in a handstand or a crow pose. But what yoga shows us is that this is incredibly inefficient. Instead, you want to focus on pushing down with whatever is on the ground. Push down with your standing foot. Push down with your hands. I could say this 100 times, but most of my students don't get it until they've heard it like 300 times. It took me years. It took me years to really understand it. The third essential skill, of course, is the breath. Everything in yoga comes back to the breath, doesn't it? The reason the breath is so important in balance is because most people, without realizing it, favor either the inhale or the exhale in their waking lives. One tends to be dominant. And when you're in deep sleep, it's usually pretty even. But when you're awake and your conscious mind is interfering, most people favor either the inhale or the exhale. And this affects a lot of things, but it certainly affects your balance. Because if you want to find balance in the most tangible, physical part of your existence, your body, it's going to be very difficult if you are first not balanced on the more subtle plane of your existence, which is your breath. So you've got to get your inhale and your exhale to match. You've got to overcome that tendency to take a deep breath in when you launch yourself into your balancing pose and then hold it. Or as some people do, fewer in my experience, but some people breathe out and hold it out. You've got to look for a sense of balance, inhale to exhale, and maintain it. And then it makes it much easier to practice those first two skills I mentioned, the rooting down and the hugging in toward the center. So there you have it, the 3 essential skills. Now, one last thing I do want to mention is just like everything else in yoga, it's one thing to sit here and listen to me and kind of wrap your head around it and understand it intellectually, but that is no help without practice. You have got to embody these skills. You've got to lay the track work of you've got to lay the neuromuscular pathways in your body and really get it into your body mind. But the good news is with balance, there's this threshold. Once you cross it, you can't go back. Once you learn and really embody these 3 skills, you can't unlearn them. And a great example is riding your bike. Think about when you were a kid, you learned to ride your bike. It was probably kind of stressful at first. It involved some falling, some failing, some scraped knees. But once you got it, you got it. And you have it forever because you can go 10, 20 plus years without being on a bike. And as soon as you get back on one, your body knows just what to do. You don't have to consciously micromanage your balance on a bike. And it's the same thing when you get these 3 skills in yoga. So practice them. Let me know how it goes. Leave a comment at the bottom of this video. And if you'd like some help figuring out exactly how to embody these in the most efficient way so that you really get it, then I teach a Build Your Balance workshop, and I would love to help you. You can find a link describing more about that at the bottom of this video. So thank you so much for your attention, for listening. I hope that you found this helpful, yogis. And until next time, take care. Namaste.